Hello and welcome back. We are live on the Volvo stand at the Geneva Motor Show 2012. As you can see, the covers are off. The all-new V40 has been launched. Well, if you want an idea of the level of interest in the new V40, just have a look around on this stand. It is absolutely packed at the moment. We've got crews from around the planet, journalists, reporters queuing up for interviews, and it's getting a very favourable press, I can tell you. There's a small select number of journalists have had a chance to drive it. A larger number today are getting it inside the car. All the comments are very good. Like, let's leave this version of the V40 and wander over here, because it's time to speak to one of the team who's been involved in bringing this car to market. We have to get on the carousel here, Dragon, so you ready for the fairground ride? It's moving quite slowly. Hakan Abrahamsson, how are you? Here he is, round here. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Congratulations on launching the car and bringing it to market. Let's have a little look first of all. Dragon, can you have a look down the side? Hakan, let me start by saying, what does the V40 mean to you?
The V40 is Volvo's entry to the premium hatchback market, challenging the German competitors with its just stunning design inside out.
So challenging the Germans, you're taking on BMW and Audi. These are Goliaths in the manufacturing. Is Volvo able to compete?
Absolutely. With this car we have got to act together, and I believe we're going to give the Germans some serious headache.
Okay, well, before we take a deep look at the car, let's have a look at this car on the road and in action. Okay, let's have a look at the panoramic roof, which is where I want to start. So, Dragon, if you can see the glass surround on the roof. This is not standard. This is going to be an option on the car to have a completely panoramic roof.
It is an option, but as you see, it enhances the looks of the car greatly.
Yeah, so it gives the lines, which I know a lot of effort's gone into how this car looks. Just talk to me about the profile.
Yeah, as you see, the stance is low and wide, and it has a very fast silhouette. Substantial body side with slim side windows with a pronounced tumble home. And you see the greenhouse tapers towards the rear, creating a good offset to the rear wheel arch, flexing some massive muscles here in the rear end.
And tell me about this little heritage moment here.
This is a flirt to the P1800.
One of the classic Volvo cars.
We call it for the Volvo hook.
The Volvo hook, yeah. Excellent. Yeah. I know Stefan Jacobi during the launch said that a lot of the high-end devices and technology has filtered down into this car, so everything down from the driver information system inside to the lights, LEDs?
LEDs, it's LEDs all over. That's what you should have in a modern car, and you can have it here in all applications.
Okay, well, what we're going to do, Hakan, is wander up to the other V40 and also take some questions, but I want to speak to you again in a moment, so if you follow on behind, and Dragon, you come up this way. As you can see, people are queuing up to have their picture taken with the V40. It's the star of the show here. Your questions are coming in on the big board up there. Facebook on one side, Twitter on the other side. You've seen the car. If you want to have something to say, you've got a question to ask, now's the time to do it. Come with me, Dragon. Because Lindsay is one of the team who's monitoring your comments and feeding them through. Lindsay, what have people been saying?
Well, reaction to the car's been great, been really, really positive. I think probably one of the most common comments we're getting is from the US. We seem to have a lot of fans from the US on the Facebook page. They're really keen to know if the car's actually going to be making it over to their shores.
So that's a question which we can put directly to Stefan later and see whether, if it's not the V40, they've got plans for the US.
Yeah, exactly. I think people really want to know about that. People are also really interested in the pedestrian airbag. We've seen some animations about how that works, but people are keen to find out a little bit more. So maybe another question for Stefan, or later on in one of our maybe the tech webcast, because obviously it is a world first, so it is exciting some interest.
Okay, Lindsay, thank you very much indeed. As Lindsay says, we've got a couple of webcasts this afternoon which are going into the Wired website as well as here on Facebook, where we will get a chance to go into some detail on that technology, including the pedestrian airbag, which is a world first, hidden under the bonnet in this car. But I have a surprise for you. We're going to come around here, because in the car at the moment is the former BBC Top Gear presenter, British motoring journalist, Jason Barlow. Excuse me, gentlemen, sorry, it's difficult to get near you, Jason.
You actually had to fight your way.
I had to. Do you know people are queuing up to have their picture taken?
Throw someone out of it.
Did you?
Yeah, genuinely did.
I want your first impression.
First impression. Well, do you know what? I'm a bit geeky about door handles, and the door handle's good. Then you get in, the steering wheel's good, it's the right size, and then you know, everybody wants paddle shifts. I like a good manual gearbox, and this one's got a backlit gear lever as well, so that's nice. And then you do the squidge test. This stuff, I really will sound geeky now, this is called slush molding, okay? And if you can squidge a dashboard like that, it means it's premium, which is what this car is all about. So it feels good, yeah.
Outside of a car manufacturer's design office, I don't know anyone quite like you.
Yeah, that's probably a good thing. You've chosen your friends very wisely.
No,
you mean you've never heard of slush molding before? What are you talking about?
The rear view mirror caught my eye.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, it's full of interesting details. There's a TFT screen as well here, so you can reconfigure that. The floating console, which they've had for a while, that is nice. I mean, that you know, it's kind of like, why have rear view mirrors had plastic molding around them all this time? You know, you don't really. And the other thing is, I'm 6'3". This is the driving position I would have, possibly even a bit further forward, and I can actually sit behind myself as well, so it's roomy.
Yeah, that's one of the things I noticed when I got in, and it's a bit deceiving actually from the outside. When you get in, you feel this spaciousness. That's quite a clever design trick, isn't it?
It is, and also you talk to any car designer, and one of the things they like to create is a sense of airiness inside, because that kind of quality, even though a lot of cars use quite dark materials, luxury equates to kind of lightness and airiness, and I think they've pulled it off. You know, it's kind of, Volvo interiors have always been good, though. They really have. Okay,
Jason, I'm going to ask you to step out, because I can't crouch down a man of my age for that long. Yeah, that's the P1800 hook.
Is that? Oh, of course it is. Of course it is. I knew that.
You didn't spot it first time.
No, I didn't. No, the P1800, nice car.
Yeah, and heritage features, of course, through the car. Jason, we heard from Håkan Abrahamsson just now that this car has been built to take on the Germans, take on Audi, take on BMW. Is this going to be a serious contender?
Well, Volvo have had premium aspirations for many, many years, as long as I've been working in this business. I think they're in that kind of weird space between, you know, they're above Fiat, Ford, perhaps even Volkswagen, but not quite BMW or Audi. You know, brand experts will tell you how this magic happens, how certain brands acquire that kind of status. From the way it feels inside, from the way the door's shut, from what I'm hearing about how it drives, I think it stands a pretty fair chance. Yeah, it looks good.
We should say one of your former colleagues at BBC Top Gear has had a drive in the car, and he's
a current colleague, actually.
He's a current colleague.
And he knows what he's talking about as well.
He's pretty positive, isn't he, about it?
Well, he was. I saw him this morning. I'll have to have a proper download from him, and he will like to download. He likes a bit of a download, a brain dump. Yeah, he liked it. He's quite realistic. You know, we always accused about all we do is swan around in supercars and everything. When we see a car that's a little bit further down the food chain, a kind of everyday car that's executed with the right amount of wit, intelligence, quality, we get just as excited by all those things.
I mean,
especially Paul.
Especially Paul.
Yeah.
In many ways, this is actually one of the most important parts of the car industry. It's a very competitive, very sought-after spot, isn't it?
Oh, this sector, I mean, the vehicles you're referring to, primarily the Audi A3, the BMW 1 Series, very desirable. There's a lot of downsizing going on at the moment, as you know, people who want to, you know, let's say, for example, I have an XC90 at the moment, which has been a tremendously successful vehicle for Volvo in establishing itself as a premium player. Maybe you want to get out of that and it's something smaller, and this is what the V40 could do.
Okay, Jason, delighted you could join us today.
Pleasure,
Thank you
always.
so much. Hakan, I'm going to bring you back in. Let's wander a bit around here so people get a full view of the car. I'm very keen. Dragon, can you pick up the rear tailoring? Because I think this is a very smart and very uniquely Volvo look to this car. Hakan, can you shed any light on what you've done at the back here?
Well, you see here we have carried in the character of what we have seen in the C30 and in the V60, and given it a bit more sharpness. And you can see this sculptured rear end, which really puts a drama to the car and really pushes it forward. It looks like it's running fast even when standing still.
Okay, now I've got one question for you, because as I was talking to Jason, I was watching the questions come up on the big screen behind us, and I saw a question that was in my mind as well, which is, you boast fuel efficiency, you boast ecological aspects of the car. How can you deliver that and deliver performance?
This car offers a very wide range of engines. So on top we have the 254 horsepower T5, 0 to 100 in 6.5 seconds. And then we have the fuel efficient D2, which delivers 3.6 liters per kilometer, which means only 94 grams CO2. That is class leading.
That's quite a range of engines available for the same body, isn't it?
Yes, it's quite a range. And what's good is to hear when people drive the car with this fuel efficient engine and say, well, it performs well. How can it be that fuel efficient when it drives so well?
Okay, well, if that's what people are asking, that's a good thing. And the early signs from the test drivers is just that. Okay, look, we're going to be back at 2:15 local time. That is 1:15 on the GMT clock for a technical overview of a lot of the aspects of the car. Some of the things we've skimmed on, like the pedestrian safety airbag. We'll find out exactly how that works and see that in action, in animation at least. But for now, from Geneva, I'm going to say goodbye. I'm going to leave you with a last look at the car.